In every poker player's career, there are defining moments. Tonight, 12 players compete for 9 spots at the 2011 main event final table.
It's a dream that is ungraspable to most poker players.
Tonight is a defining moment.
You can't live outside the moment, you have to live in the moment.
Last night I didn't get any sleep.
To sit at this table, you can't make a reservation.
The main event bracelet counts more than any other bracelet. The recognition and the ability to call yourself a world champion.
To sit at this table, the moment must be owned.
Outside of winning the Super Bowl, it's got to be the best feeling in the world.
Welcome back to Las Vegas for the conclusion of Day 8 of the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. 12 players on the cusp of the November 9. Owen O'D has been this tournament's silent assassin, and he's the chip leader.
My wife detects a slight Irish accent now when I ask her what's for dinner.
Anton Makievsky has shown poker wisdom beyond his years.
Say dobre shabuti Anton Makievsky.
We've said it before, we'll say it again. Ben Lamb seems destined.
My therapist says if I talk any more about Ben Lamb, I will become Ben Lamb.
What was once a sea of 6,865 players is now 12. OD in the lead. Costa Rican John Hewitt in second. Americans Lamb, Collins, and Giannetti all in the top 9. Holden, Devonshire, and Wynn all have some work left to do.
It's not the November 12, it's the November 9. 3 players are going to go home a bit unhappy.
Soon, one player will walk away with that bracelet and $8.7 million.
Matt, how much do you have? 9 million?
9.1 to start the level.
And how much do you have?
12.5.
12.3. You have all of it.
You have more.
He has all of it.
Yeah, you have a lot of it.
The blinds at 150, 300,000, a 40,000. Chip ante, 2 6-handed tables. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam, Sam Holden with pocket 7s.
Along with the super blind and the ability to only use your one time once, next year's World Series should mandate that players wear shirts that electronically update their chip counts. I'm tired of hearing, how much do you have?
Holden made the minimum raise to 600,000. Bunara folds his button to John Hewitt in the small blind. He folds. Ben Lamb in the big blind makes the call with ace-deuce.
Ben Lamb never gets tired of looking at people.
Heads up to the flop. It is 4-7-4. Holden flops huge 7s full. Lamb quickly checks.
Joe Navarro says if you hold your hands in a steeple like Holden, it's a sign of strength. I believe Joe is correct in this hand.
800,000 from Holden. Lamb has had a knack for losing the minimum when in trouble. Let's see what happens here.
Ben has the dreaded less than 1% notation next to his cards.
Ben has 3 times the chip stack of Holden, so he's not easily run off here. Makes the call.
I had the less than 1% notation next to my first marriage.
Tray of clubs on the turn. It may cost Ben some more chips. He picks up a wheel draw and checks again.
Holden became a poker pro in 2010, said he wanted to take a year to see what he could do with it.
He's doing well so far. Final 2 tables of the main event in his first World Series. A bet of 1.6 million.
Lamb still trying to get a read off of Holden, and Ben's radar definitely off here. It was an under-the-gun raise from a pretty conservative player, but he thinks his ace-high might be good.
He does not see the 0 next to his name and makes the call.
Of course, Ben has picked up that wheel draw.
River card, king of diamonds. Lamb missed his draw, luckily for him, and checks again.
Holden considers his bet size. Ben watches while Sam ponders.
Holden flop the full house. Had Ben Lamb from the get-go. And now puts out 3.2 million.
Ben getting 3-1 on a call here if he wants to pay to see if his read is right. And he must have some type of read on Sam that's telling him Sam is posturing here.
Ben Lamb can afford it, but decides to fold, and Holden with a nice bounty here against Ben Lamb. Over 12.2 million for the Brit.
That's a nice chip up for the 22-year-old. Ben Lamb still wants to see what the kid had.
The paths of the remaining 12 players have been well documented. We saw Ben Lamb impress right from the start. We first heard from Anton Makievsky on day 4, and Phil Collins dominated his feature table appearance on day 6. These players all have a prime spot on the path to the November 9, but the road narrows ahead.
It's been a remarkable main event. The big one has been better than ever, marked by a near-record field, and down the stretch, an overwhelmingly young and overwhelmingly international field. The pressure tonight is insane. Somebody's going to melt down and not make it. It could be anybody. But something wouldn't be right in the poker universe if Ben Lamb didn't advance to the November 9. This is his year.
Lamb has been amazingly consistent in this main event. Tonight is the culmination of a long poker grind, 8 days and nearly 7,000 players gone. After 3 eliminations, 9 players will remain, each still with a shot at $8.7 million and the gold bracelet.
Jonathan Duhamel was the 2010 main event champion. He took home $8.9 million.
Bob Benara with ace tray off raises to 775. Ben Lamb on the button gives it up. The lone Brit left Sam Holden, flush with new chips, folds in the big blind. German pro Pius Heinz with pocket tens. He makes the call.
One misstep and you're missing the November 9. We see it happen every year.
Heinz and Belize's Bob Benara will see a flop. It is Jack Trey, and Benara takes a commanding lead, flopping trip threes. Heinz first to act. He checks. Benara with the best of it right now, $1,100,000.
This doesn't look like the worst flop in the world for Pius Heinz.
With the pocket tens and the trays on board.
I like that Heinz uses 2 hands to make his bets.
And he puts out the call. Belizean ahead right now. 8 of diamonds on the turn. No improvement to Heinz's hand, and he checks again.
At home, Benara plays 5-10 and 10-25 no limit hold'em twice a week at the card room he co-owns.
Bob Benara cutting out some chips.
See, one-hand wagering takes so much longer. Is his right arm on strike?
$2.5 million from Benara, one-handed.
Why so much?
Heinz suspects something's up that he doesn't like. Benara representing a big hand.
Benara has a big hand, and the pocket tens of Heinz correctly go into the muck. He was drawing very thin.
Benara takes it down, but at this stage, you really want to maximize the size of the pot when you have a massive edge. The amateur does not do that.
A good day 8 can define your tournament, and good things are happening for Holden and Benara late in the game. Welcome back to the Rio. There are 9 empty seats at the final table, and the 12 remaining players would all like to secure their spot. Irishman Owen O'D is the chip leader. He sits at our secondary feature table, along with Kwa Win, a former chip leader in the main event, now the short stack. It is time for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand, and there you see my broadcast partner's batting average.
Yeah, you see I'm batting .397, Lon. If I want to be the first to hit 400 since Ted Williams, I've got to step up to the plate and hit this one out.
Phil Collins has the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
Oh, he's tough to read.
Collins, second to act. $725,000 is the raise.
I don't think Phil is playing that King Jack or Queen 10 off garbage in early position. I think he's playing the babies, pocket 3s or 5-4 suited.
Makievsky folds to the button. Martin Stashko with pocket 4s.
I cannot confirm nor deny whether Phil Collins, the singer, has ever performed in Trinnic. I believe the answer is no.
Stashko calls for $725 from the button. Brian Devonshire in the small blind folds.
Stashko trying to become the first from Czech Republic to make the main event final table. Collins trying to become the first University of South Carolina law school applicant waitlisted who then turned them down to make the main event final table.
All right, here's the flop. Stashko and Collins. Queen, deuce, 8. Collins first to act here. Stashko did not improve.
Collins in a black button down here at the poker table, which is like wearing a tuxedo to the supermarket.
He may do that. A bet of $900,000.
Collins capable of c-betting anything here. I think he's taking one more shot with the pocket 3s or the 5-4 suited, figuring the flop likely missed Stashko.
Stashko did miss the flop, and with his 4s makes the call.
Well, he figures Collins would c-bet anything, so he thinks his pocket 4s are good. I think they are.
King of hearts on the turn.
Collins should be wary of Stashko's call on the flop, but it looks like he's plowing on. I don't know, Lon. I'm losing my nerve about the pocket threes of the 5-4 suited. At least with the 5-4 suited, he's picked up a flush draw.
I'm rooting for you to hit 400. Stashko anxiously awaiting what the graceful Phil Collins will do.
I'll stick with it.
2.2 million.
He's repping a big hand, but I don't think he has one.
And Stashko gives it up. Collins had D, 5-4 of hearts to win the Jack Link's beef jerky wildcard hand.
I need an official scores ruling here. A half credit puts me to 400. No.
I'm giving you a half credit.
I'm Norman Ball game, sort of.
Thanks, 40,000.
Collins, one of the local favorites, has one of the more entertaining rails. He's number 5 on the charts now with a bullet. It's no surprise to those that know him. He's still alive in the main event.
Phil Collins, 26 years old, from Aiken, South Carolina, living in Las Vegas. Before this year's main event, not a lot of people knew who I was, and even though I've had a lot of success playing online, not having live success was definitely a point of frustration for me. But I knew that I needed to adjust a few things to be successful live as I have been online. I changed the way I played a few hands, and I really just tried to stay as focused as I could. Most of my friends are my poker friends, so there's a lot of poker discussion or poker talk. But outside of us playing, we do normal stuff. We lay out by the pool, play cornhole, go golf whenever we can, try to get better at bowling.
We got ribeyes, we got strip steaks.
I didn't really get the Phil Collins stuff much whenever I was growing up. I was just Phil to my friends. They knew my last name, but it was never really anything.
And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Go Phil!
Well, what I really like is you must get this all the time. If you know that I get it all the time, then why are you giving it to me again?
And we've been waiting for this moment for all his life. Go Phil!
Maybe if I win the main event, I could be the most famous Phil Collins. That would be nice.
He must get that all the time, no? By the way, it's okay to be the second most famous Phil Collins if you win $8.7 million.
Dealer asked me one of the other days, did they just cheer for you getting a walk? They cheer even when I don't win a hand.
I've noticed, Lon, that sometimes they cheer for you when you walk out of a poker room.
They cheer more when I come in. Everyone loves dead money. All right, action on Brian Devonshire. King, queen offsuit.
Devo also with a good following here. He has a home in Henderson, just south of the Strip.
He has been a poker dealer in this town, a rafting guide, a youth pastor. He raises to $700,000. A qual win on the button.
I'm all in.
Win the short stack, re-raises all in for over $3.8 million.
Win finds an ace and pushes.
The chip leader, Owen OD with a pocket pair.
Actually a tough spot here for OD. He'd have to put in a sizable raise to try to get Devonshire out.
OD in the small blind. Lays down the sixes. Collins in the big blind with Jack Deuce. He folds.
Side call.
And Devonshire, the second shortest stack, calls. And Wynn, maybe a little surprised to see he's a slight favorite.
Yeah, Wynn pushed with 12 big blinds left. If Devo loses, he'll be down to 12 big blinds. Not a huge pot, but a big one for both of them.
Active cheering sections for both of these players. Brian Devonshire trying to knock out Qua Wynn. All right, now here's the flop. 4-9 tray, no paint. That's good for Wynn, bad for Devo. Ace-high still best.
Devo does not look optimistic.
The turn card. 10 of diamonds. Devonshire with a gut shot now picking up some outs.
Any paint.
Yeah, Devo with the draw. He needs a king, queen, or jack to knock out Qua Wynn.
The river card is another 10. Qua Wynn survives and will fight on. And that one hurt Devonshire, who is just deflated after that river card bricked.
Yeah, Qua Wynn's November 9 dream is alive. And indeed, a dejected Devonshire, now the short stack.
Brian Devonshire left with just 3.6 million chips, lost almost half his stack right there. Qua Win with a double up. It's still a lot of work left to do, and those are the risks you take late in the main event. When you can ill afford to lose those hands, your main event mortality starts to sink in. Welcome back to the World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Just before the break, Brian Devonshire took a big hit that knocked him to the bottom of the chip count with 12 players remaining. OD, Lamb, and Hewitt run 1, 2, 3, but at this stage of the tournament, it's about making the November 9. Wynn, Hines, and Devo on the outside looking in.
It's the haves and the have-nots, and at this point, if you're in the top 3 and you somehow miss the November 9, that's something you likely will regret for a long, long time.
Yeah, if you make it, even with a short stack, big stack, mid stack, whatever, you just want to make it. Hewitt with ace-king. First to act, and a raise to $650,000.
And Hewitt make a couple of terrific calls on the latter stages of this main event against Giannetti and Pius Hines.
Short stack Hines with king-jack of clubs.
His feistiness on day 8 has cost him a bundle of chips.
I'm all in. I'm all in.
He says all in for his last 8 million and change.
Feisty again from the button, all in, 26 big blinds left with king-jack suited.
I call.
Hewitt made the call with his ace-king, and Pius Hines has to improve or he is gone.
Hewitt in position to send home probably the most aggressive player left in the field, and if Hewitt wins this pot, he'll be on cruise control to make the November 9.
Yeah, he would retake the chip lead. Hines is dominated by Hewitt right now with his tournament life at stake. Hewitt trying to get us down to 11 players, one step closer to the November 9. The flop 7, 10, 8. Hines picks up a gut shot, but Hewitt still favored with ace-king.
Hewitt likes the look of it. He's still in a dominant position.
The turn card now.
Come on.
6 of hearts, Hewitt with a flush draw.
One more, baby. One more.
And that takes a couple of outs away from Hines.
Hines now is going to need a non-heart 9 or jack, or he's done.
The river is the 9 of diamonds. Hines bags the double up with a little river luck.
That's a tough one. Hines hits a 5-outer. Hewitt's back to the grind. We still have 12 players, and now Hewitt and Hines have similar middle-of-the-pack stacks.
I won good.
Hewitt still in the top 9 and now joined by Pius Hines, whose 16.8 million chips puts him in 6th place.
Pius Hines runs good.
And a very dangerous player just got a lot of chips as Hewitt provides the double up. Hines escapes with a miracle river, but he's not the only player who's been lucky to get this far in the main event. Here is the flop, and it is Trey 4 playing ace small. Sometimes can work. And that secures the double up for Makievsky. Anton Makievsky pinning his main event hopes on pocket queens against the ace queen of Andrew Ferguson. Here's the flop, and an ace in the window for Ferguson sends Makievsky to the edge of the edge. The river card, and there is the queen. The case queen saves Makievsky's main event. And here's the flop and a straight for Bunara.
I won. I won. Yeah.
This where I use my one time?
Oh.
One time left.
6 of hearts, Hewitt with a flush draw.
Baby. One more.
The river is the 9 of diamonds. Hines bags the double up with a little river luck.
I won good.
If I can quote British statesman Benjamin Disraeli, we make our fortunes and call them fate. A lot of fate going on around these parts.
Anton says he was put all in on the very first level of the main event. To 0-0D, the chip leader, ace queen offsuit.
I'm not a fan of ace-queen, but we're playing 6-handed now, and that's a much stronger hand here than it would be at a full table.
The chip leader in the main event right now with a raise to $650,000.
Such a weird vibe out there. The players are worn down, but they are wired to take this final step to the November 9.
Small blind, Martin Stashko folds. To the big blind, Brian Devonshire with a lot fewer chips than he had a few minutes ago. He doubled up Qua Win.
With king-queen suited, the short stack is mulling whether this is the moment.
Devonshire says time to cowboy up and get it all in. And a call from OD. So Devonshire at risk, trying to make the king-queen work this time.
Devo dominated, and downcast, and even if he doubles here, he'll still be the short stack.
Still life in Devo's rail, and now the flop. Jack deuce 4. Devonshire finds no help there.
The likable local suddenly seems beaten down.
OD trying to score another knockout. Turn card, queen of clubs. That pairs both. Does not change the fact Devonshire has nearly run out of chances.
Devonshire, the outdoorsman, is king of the river, and he needs one right now. Devo's got to have a king.
The river card is a 7. OD wins and eliminates the gregarious pro Brian Devonshire in 12th place.
OD has busted 3 straight players.
Brian brought a lot of life to the main event, not to mention friends with buckets on their heads. He wins almost $608,000 bucks.
Again, would you have that hand? Would you have that ace-10, 8 hand?
At the moment, 600 grand doesn't feel that grand to Brian Devonshire.
Nice hand.
He still goes out with a smile.
So Owen OD stacks the last of what was Brian Devonshire's chips. Let's go down to Kara Scott, who was with the 12th place finisher.
Brian Devonshire was certainly one of the most popular players left in deep here in the main event, and you had an incredible rail that you brought with you as well. Did that help you coming through to keep you focused?
I enjoy having the rail just because it's fun, and I like my buddies being here and having a good time. I enjoy the support and a little bit of a hometown advantage when they're cheering for you winning pots and not them, but mostly just a good time for all.
I spoke with your fiance earlier, and she said that you've got a real sense of adventure, that's part of who you are. Do you think that's part of what makes you such a good poker player?
I'm not so sure. I mean, I think that my sense of adventure and getting me outside helps me maintain a little more chilled out and focused at the table just by getting outside.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Commiseration. Thank you.
A strong finish for Brian Devonshire, but he falls just short of the greenest pasture. Welcome back to Las Vegas. Lon McCarron along with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Just 11 players left in the 2011 main event with 2 more eliminations. Our final table will be set. Right now, Matt Giannetti and Qua Nguyen are the odd men out. Qua Nguyen looks down at ace-4 of spades at the secondary table.
He was born in Vietnam. His family moved to Calgary when he was 5. He began playing poker 5 years ago. Ace-4, not a great hand, but every orbit costing wins 650,000 chips. Can't just sit around.
He is the short stack with $9 million, a raise to 650. Collins on the button with kings.
He didn't play poker till his freshman year at South Carolina's spring break trip to Hilton Head Island. He played a pennies and nickels game with friends.
How far he has come in such a short time. A re-raise to $1.5 million. Makievsky in the small blind. Ace-Jack on the Jack Link's beef jerky hole count.
How many chips you got? What is your stack?
8 more.
Behind or double?
8 more, so behind.
Anton's question could have been avoided if people had shirts with their correct chip count.
On a re-raise to $4 million from Makievsky.
Anton was 4-bet overdue. My man is back.
Stashko folds his big blind. Qua Nguyen gives it up, so back to Collins now.
Makievsky knows Collins could have been 3-betting light, particularly at a 5-handed table, but Collins was 3-betting with a monster. And Phil now trying to figure out his best course of action.
He started the hand with 16.1 million, about 8 million shy of Makievsky's stack.
All in.
And Collins pushes his whole stack in the middle.
Total. What is total?
We need the chip count shirt. Collins pretending he didn't hear Makievsky. Doesn't want to give anything away.
What is all in?
I say approximately 16 million.
Makievsky uneasy now.
Well, I don't believe Anton will risk 2/3 of his big stack with an ace in this spot.
Anton thinking of the upsides, the downsides, and finally gives it up. And Collins will take that pot. And 5 million new chips refueling Phil Collins and his backup singers.
If they ever sell a soundtrack to Phil Collins' main event, count me out.
Anton had been playing along with Phil's rail earlier, but I don't think he's enjoying the singing this time around. Anton and Phil with about even stacks now. Back to the feature table, folded to John Hewitt. He has ace-jack offsuit now. Hewitt in the small blind. And he makes a raise to 700,000 to Ben Lamb in the big with 10-6 off.
By the way, Ben Lamb's 2011 World Series is looking eerily like Michael Mizrachi's 2010 World Series. The Grinder had 5 top 26 finishes, including a bracelet and 5th place in the main event. Lamb has 5 top 12 finishes, including a bracelet.
Lamb with a re-raise to 1.8 million, knowing most poker players are liars.
Well, Lamb 3-betting their line with 10-6 off. The Grinder grinded, Ben aggresses.
All in.
Hewitt re-raises all in for almost 18 million, and Ben gives it up quickly.
Ben retreats.
How much did you move in for?
12.
Huh?
12.
12?
No, not 12.
You have much more than 12, you know?
We got much more than 12.
You moved in for like 20 million.
I'd still be happy if you called then.
I guess so.
Hewitt didn't move in for 12 million. He moved in for 18. He needs a chip count shirt.
Back to the secondary table. Action will open up on Martin Stashko. Stashko from the Czech Republic looks down at 2 red kings.
His father works for a big steel company in Trinnic, and Martin also worked there for a while.
He also worked as a quality control manager in the paint shop of an automotive company. And he's putting chips together now. 675,000 is the raise to Qual Win with pocket 10s.
Bad time for pocket 10s at a 5-handed table.
Win the short stack, even though he took a lot of Brian Devonshire's chips. And he re-raises to 1,750,000. So Qual Win serious about his hand. Makievsky folds back to Stashko and the kings.
How much behind? 6.
Chip count shirt.
It would not work with plaid, though.
All in.
He re-raises Win all in.
If Win mucks it, he's left with 20 big blinds. Tough to muck pocket 10 short-handed, even against Stashko, who doesn't make too many moves pre-flop.
After Win's re-raise, he had to think maybe somebody might repop him.
Call.
And he does call all in.
Call.
And Win's pocket 10s in big trouble against the kings of Stashko.
Win just saw his November 9 life flash before his eyes.
Martin Stashko with a chance to pick up some chips and get us to 10-handed. Here's the flop. Ace 4-5, a big nothing for Win.
Win walking the plank. Don't know if viewers can appreciate the history we're closing in on. Someone from Trinnic may make the final table.
Turn card is a 6. Stashko's king still way ahead.
Stashko poised for the knockout. If Win doesn't hit a 10, we will be down to 10.
The river is another 6. Stashko wins it. And that's the last card Qual Win will see as a main event competitor.
The poker player businessman did a lot of good business here.
And Trennick's in second place, a step closer to the final 9. The remaining players will now gather at the feature table. 1 elimination to go before we have our November 9. We are back in the Amazon room with just 10 players left, all making their way to the feature table.
O&OD hired some help.
He needed it as the chip leader. The final moments before play restarts. Mike Matiso in the house, Eric Lindgren, Doc Sands and Erica Motino are here. Meanwhile, Bob Bunara doing his best to become the first bracelet winner from Belize. OD and Stashko have made the biggest gains, while Anton Makievsky perhaps got a little too aggressive at the wrong time. Bunara and Matt Giannetti with 18 and 11 big blinds, respectively. With almost 26.5 million, Ben Lamb in third place. They've taken out the orange chips and added those new beige chips worth $250,000 each.
O&OD trying to join his father Donica as a main event final tableist and make them the first father and son ever to get there.
Can we just make it a November 10?
Yeah.
We did that when we came back to Boa last felt 6 hands.
At least then they could design a table.
Yeah, just give us 10th place money.
You chop it up,
We'll
each
see
get a
in
link of the
November.
bracelet, everyone's happy, go, you know, no problem.
Yeah, what would we
got
get
no
if we all
problem.
chopped it up right now?
I got no problem.
Can we do that?
I can, like, I think more.
3 million at least 3 million. Probably
Ben's
more.
close. It would be about $2.8 million a piece if they chopped it up right now.
Matt Giannetti, first to act under the gun with pocket jacks, and he raises all in to $5.5 million, so this could be it.
A solemn all-in from Giannetti. 11 big blinds left.
All right, so how anxious are the others to play with Giannetti?
Well, Giannetti needs a double up, but if he just picks up the blinds and antes at this point, that's $1.2 million. This, of course, the biggest bubble in poker, so people don't come in too lightly.
On the button, Lamb with ace-10, and he folded that to the small blind, Stashko, with Trey Deuce.
How much is it?
5.5.
That's almost 1/3 of Hewitt's stack.
Funny how close
Giannetti raised under the gun. I don't think Hewitt could expect better than a race here with ace-10.
Hewitt seems very tempted here, Norman.
5.5? I call.
He makes the call to put Giannetti at risk and perhaps find our November 9 for this year. But Hewitt will have to improve.
Thanks.
Giannetti can barely stand to watch.
I don't know what to do. I folded white.
I folded ace-10.
Come on,
You fold an ace?
Ace-10.
Ace-10?
Good luck.
Thanks.
Hewitt made a loose call, and now everybody at the table is rooting for him.
Giannetti at risk. Here's the flop. King 4-8, 2 hearts. Giannetti still a heavy favorite with the jacks.
Giannetti still does not want to look. Hewitt awaits.
Then Lamb folded an ace, so just 2 left in the deck. Umberto Brenes is here. He's here to root on his fellow Costa Rican John Hewitt. Turn card 5 of clubs. Hewitt does not find his ace there.
Hewitt looking for a 2-outer to knock out Matt Giannetti and give us our final table.
The river card is a 6. Giannetti survives and doubles up. We are still 10-handed.
Nice hand, man.
Hewitt could not find his card.
Nice hand, Matt.
Thank you.
So Giannetti doubles up. He knows that against this field, anything short of the chip lead can mean danger.
These guys are extremely talented players. I mean, look at my tournament record, look at theirs. I haven't even had a 6-figure cash until this one. And I've played a lot of, 10K buy-ins, 25K buy-ins. I played the 40K. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. I've never had a 6-figure cash. I'm just getting lucky, I guess.
Giannetti's a bit tough on himself. He's got 11 World Series cashes, 5 World Poker Tour cashes. Nothing to be embarrassed about.
All the playing experience you've had with these opponents becomes very critical now. 10-handed, folded to Ben Lamb, 9-7 suited, a raise to $1.2 million.
And Lamb already staring down Martin Stashko. Martin's not even in the hand yet.
Stashko with Queen Jack of diamonds, reaching for some of the brand new beige chips. He makes the call. So now to the big blind, John Hewitt. Hewitt, ace 4 off.
All in.
And he says all in, 10.3 million.
What's Hewitt in a rush to get out of here? Weak
so.
ace, 20 big blinds left.
Lamb folds.
So much 10.
It is for 1/4 of a stack.
Stashko with the furrowed brow. Gives up his hand, and the heat from Hewitt wins him that pot.
Hewitt gambled with 2 players already in the pot. It paid off.
John Hewitt outmuscles Lamb and Stashko and picks up a few million chips. If we've learned one thing lately, it's John Hewitt will live or die with chips flying. More 10-handed action in a moment. Poker pro Nick Binger registered for the $5,000 pot limit Omaha high-low event with little time to spare, and it's a good thing he did. He reached the final table heads up with 2009's 50K horse winner David Bach, ultimately shooting down the gunslinger to win the bracelet and nearly $400,000 in prize money.
Third time's a charm. I finally closed it out and won my first bracelet.
$400,000, a nice payday for Nick Binger, but the 10 remaining main event players are all guaranteed almost $608,000. The top 8 will be poker millionaires.
Man, 12th place at the stud 8 event I cashed in, paid 10 grand. I was screwed.
Matt Giannetti, the odd man out at the moment here in the main event, the short stack at this 10-handed table.
This bubble's not just about the prize money, it's the added value of getting to the November 9.
T.S. Hines with ace 10. And a raise to 1.1 million. Lamb with king 9.
As always, Hines the aggressor who loves to aggress. And it looks like Ben Lamb is going to re-aggress the aggressor.
He just keeps hammering away. A re-raise to 3.1 million.
Ben 3 bets there, hoping everyone is playing real snug and he can just pick up the pot uncontested.
John Hewitt folds. Now Giannetti on the button. Wow, he just doubled with jacks. He has pocket jacks again.
Well, he might have been a little happier the first time with the jacks. He has 2 raises in front of him here. They are aggressors who could just be aggressing.
I'm all in.
Giannetti says all in again, over 8.3 million to Bunara with a queen, with pocket queens for Bunara.
Pocket queens for Bunara, who's also short stacked.
And he folds them.
That's a snug fold, but it had been 4-bet, and Bunara didn't want to risk his November 9 with queens.
Hines folded, so back to Lamb.
How much do you have?
8.35.
This would be for about 20% of Ben's stack.
Call.
And he does call. He'll try to drag himself and 8 others to the final table.
Ben knew he had to be behind Giannetti, but he was priced into call.
Bunara, I guess, was playing pre-bet defense.
I have jacks. He has king 9 offsuit.
Well, Bunara might immediately regret folding pocket queens, but I don't blame him there.
Got myself in a bad situation there. At least I know I got some people rooting for me.
Giannetti showing a little more pep in his step.
You fold the king? Anybody? Anybody have a king?
Giannetti polling the table. Here's the flop. 10-6 tray. That misses both of them.
Giannetti back in worrywart mode.
Lamb's one over card. The ramp hope for him and 8 others.
I don't want to 8 of hearts. It's the king of spades.
8 of hearts would be fun too.
King of spades.
8 of hearts would be fun. Let's get the 8 of hearts, yeah.
Ben's girlfriend Amy looking on anxiously with everyone else. Turn card is the 7 of hearts, and Lamb picks up flush and straight draws. Giannetti's still ahead, though.
Of course Ben Lamb picks up a flush and a straight draw. What'd you think? It was going to be a walkover, Matt?
All right, king of spades.
This is the best position Ben Lamb has been in this hand. 15 outs to take us to our November 9.
Good luck, Matt.
Giannetti on pins and needles, the river card, the ace of spades. Giannetti does it again.
Giannetti looks up and sees he's still here.
Living on the edge, Matt. Nice hand.
Lamb couldn't do it, and the double up this time to Giannetti is worth over 19 million.
He can smile.
I guess he won't be joining my Just Say No to Pocket Jacks Foundation. Lamb down below 21 million. He's in 4th place right now.
Bunara doesn't tell anyone he had pocket queens. If Bob does call there, Giannetti is busted, and Bunara and the others make the November 9.
I heard my crowd cheer for the turn, and then I look at the turn.
It's like it's a last turn of the deck.
It has been a stressful main event for Giannetti, especially when he knocked out Thomas Gray on day 6.
Thomas Gray's got to have a king, or Matt Giannetti's going to have a lot of chips.
The river card is a jack. Giannetti wins it. Giannetti with 8 million chips. Gray on his way out.
I feel my heart right now. When I saw pain, I couldn't see over your stack. I'm not joking, right?
Giannetti may yet make it to the November 9, but I tell you, the all-ins are taking years off the back end of his poker life.
Definitely going to be seeing my cardiologist pretty soon.
Might do better just to have Sunrise Hospital on speed dial. Hewitt raised with king queen off to $1.1 million. Folded to Bob Bunara. Bunara with pocket kings.
Pocket queens went into the muck. Pocket kings will not.
The short stack with big cards.
Bunara, the only amateur left in this group.
Bunara putting all his chips together, and they move as one, all in for 9.3 million. OD folds, Collins folds, as does Makievsky. Yes. Back to Hewitt now.
Can I ever be flipping here?
Hewitt thinking about it, but I don't think there's that much to think about. It's for 2/3 of his stack. It's been raised all in by arguably the tightest player left, and Hewitt doesn't have that great of a hand. Oh yeah, and we're on the November 9 bubble.
Is that all?
9.6.
Bunara now on his feet, awaiting his fate.
Huh? 9-3.
I call.
And John Hewitt makes that call.
Good luck to you.
Oh, I'm dead.
Yes, Hewitt in trouble. Bunara in line to pick up a 20 million chip pot.
I think the other players are kind of in disbelief that Hewitt made that call. As usual, Bunara won't watch.
Believe me, I want the Jack 10-9, believe me. I want the Jack 10-9.
I wanted the heart or whatever. I can't believe how people pick up kings in live poker. He should be shoving like jacks, 10s, 9s.
Yeah. Bunara technically at risk, but Hewitt in a heck of a lot of trouble here. The flop. Deuce, 9, deuce. Hewitt drawing very thin.
This hand all but over. Bunara being gifted a 20 million chip pot from John Hewitt.
We have King Jack or King Queen?
Turn card is a queen. That helps Hewitt, but his work is not done.
Hewitt picking up one runner there. Now Hewitt needs another running queen, a 2-outer, to bust Bob Bunara.
Queen! Let me send a queen.
Will we have our November 9?
Let me send a queen, Robert.
The river card is an 8. Bunara survives.
Yes! Go, Belize, go! Let's play poker, guys.
Hewitt takes it well, but he's crushed by his own hand.
Bunara with almost 20 million, and look what's left of Hewitt's main event, 4.1 million chips.
I call.
There was drama on the turn, but when the board ran out, Bob Bunara had a stack to play with, and John Hewitt was decimated.
Go, Belize, go!
What a turn of events before the break. John Hewitt made a highly questionable call with just king-queen. He falls way behind the pack, below 4 million now. Stashko over 40 million with a sizable lead.
I guess John Hewitt hoped he was in a coin flip, but even then, I don't know why he'd have that much gamble in him with the November 9 on the line.
Action on Owen OD on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky hole cam. King-Jack offsuit.
He's one elimination away from completing the father-son main event final table double. His father, Donica, got there twice in 1983 and 91.
Brunson's almost did it, as Todd finished 13th one year in the main event. OD with a raise to 1.1 million.
Makieski trying to become the first Ukrainian to get to the main event final table. Stashko trying to become the first Czech.
Folded 2 Stashko in the small blind with 5 deuce. Safe to say he'll sit this one out.
Good luck, guys.
John Hewitt now in the big blind. The short stack with pocket trays says all in. Almost 3.9 million.
28.75 still.
Oh, 28.7.
Huh?
3.8, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry.
OD will make the call. And John Hewitt involved in the final table bubble hand again, but this time he's the one at risk.
Yeah, Hewitt was down to 7 big blinds because of his misstep against Bunara. Hewitt now in a race for his November 9 life.
OD with the King-Jack needed less than 10% of his stack to make that call. So here we go with Hewitt at risk now. The flop, Queen 10-7. OD's Broadway draw and 2 overs make him the favorite.
Hewitt trying to smile through the pain, but he is now an underdog to stick around.
Still with a smile on his face. The crowd on their feet.
A 7 would be a 6 sweat card. That'd be the sickest sweat card ever.
The turn card ends it. That gives OD Broadway, and John Hewitt's fall from grace is complete. We have our November 9.
John Hewitt has put on a happy face during this meltdown, but I imagine he'll go back to his hotel room and wonder what the heck just happened.
Hewitt's 10th place finish gives the others a place in poker history as members of the November 9 class of 2011.
9 happy souls and a single devastated one.
They have all come through the trenches, not unscathed, not unchanged, but they have come through together. So this is how the final table will start. Stashko on top with 40 million. OD next in line with 34 million. Holden with less than 25 big blinds.
We've got 7 20-somethings, 35-year-old chip leader Martin Stashko, and 49-year-old amateur Bob Bunara.
Karascotis with John Hewitt.
John, let's talk a little bit about the hand with the king-queen. That was a really big call that you had to make. What prompted you to make that call?
It was just that throughout the whole final table, I was really, really card dead, and at that point, I didn't mind if part of his range has to include like 9s, 10s, jacks, and I don't mind flipping against that range. So I was unlucky to run into kings, and that's it.
Thank you so much.
Sure, no
Back to you,
problem.
Lon.
Thank you, Kara. Another wild entree to the final table. Norman, this tournament never disappoints.
Our November 9, very young, very international, very aggressive, and of course it all just might be a backdrop for the conclusion of the year of Ben Lamb.
It's been a year packed with incredible poker.
I hurt a little bit. My heart hurts.
Let's play poker, guys.
Brutal beats.
Oh.
Wow. Boo!
And colorful characters.
Oh,
Tough call with all those chips on it.
I'm not disrespecting you. I was just asking you a question.
Oh, I won. I won.
Yes.
Yes.
Trapping this clown, and how's he get me like that?
Trap me, I outflopped you. You called me with nothing. You called me with zero.
Called you with nothing.
The November 9 is set, but there is still a lot of unfinished business at the final table. For Norman, Chad, and Kara Scott, I'm Lon McCarran. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.